Hello, welcome to video training. This is level 1 of service, chapter 1. Chapter 1 will be covering setting up mechanics, creating manufacturer files, creating product files, and setting up auto charge options. Let's begin. From the main menu, we'll select service, or you can type in S. This is your service main menu. From here, we'll be selecting mechanic, maintenance, and reports. Let's set up our mechanics. Now, mechanics need to get put into the system so that you can post time to a particular job. Time cannot be posted without having a mechanic. So, let's begin. Enter a mechanic number. You can make up any number you wish. It's really not that important. What you will see when you are posting mechanics time is the name. So, let's just make up a number. Hit enter a tab. You'll see adding. If that number was out there already, it would say changing, and it would display the mechanic's information. Now let's type in the mechanic's name. Hit enter a tab. Hourly cost. What this should be, so that you can have accurate estimating information, is not how much a mechanic makes, but basically what you consider your average cost for a particular mechanic. For example, if a mechanic made $10 to $15 an hour, that may be 25. Let's put in 25. Keep in mind, this is not used for payroll. This is not used for anything other than helping you do estimates. So if you say somebody worked 2 hours, you're basically estimating that your cost is around $25 an hour, taking into consideration payroll, taxes, benefits, all those other things that should be taken into consideration. Secondly, the many reports that'll list mechanic productivity. Some of those reports look at the standard hours that somebody should be working. Let's put 40. At this time, we just need to hit F4, add mechanic, and that mechanic is now in my system. It's that simple. Create a number, hit enter, says adding, type in mechanic's name, type in the hourly rate, standard hours, hit F4. That simple. If you want to look and see who's in your system, it's a drop down. There's all our mechanics. If you need to delete a mechanic out, select the mechanic and hit the delete button. OK to delete, he's gone. It's that simple. You hit next, backwards. When you're done, hit escape or the exit button. Okay, that's step number 1. Let's go in to Workstation and System Options and create a manufacturer or make file and product file. Workstation and System Options. Tab down or select with the mouse the option that says Make File Maintenance. What is a makefile? Well, a makefile is just setting up all your different manufacturers. For example, in your service department, you may work on lots of Hondas and Yamahas and all different types of brands of products. What you need is to have all your different brands set up. For example, if I do a lookup, this is what's in our system. It's just all your different manufacturers of products that you'd be working on. When you're setting up a work order, it'll ask you, what is the manufacturer? What is the brand? So let's make up a new brand. I'm going to just call in, make it new. It's a 4-letter code. The code is not very important. It's not something you'll ever be typing in. It's basically going to be a drop-down that you'll be able to select. What's very important, and I'll hit the Enter key, and it'll say adding, if that code is not out there, or it'll say changing and display the information if it is out there. This is what you're going to be seeing. This is what's going to get printed on bills. This is what's going to get printed on work orders. This is what the customer is going to be seeing and what you're going to be seeing. So let's just give it a description as new MFG. Now, if you wish to key in the address, city, phone number, contact, that's perfectly fine. If not, this is the only thing that's really needed. Hit F4 to OK to add. We've just created a new manufacturer. What you may want to do is create another. And there again, this is for the condition where somebody's going to drop something off that you normally don't work on. It's a brand that you typically have never worked on before, and maybe you're going to do something to it, and you can have an other. Also, you can create this while you're creating the work order. Hit F4. OK to add. Do a lookup. These are all your manufacturers. OK, we've created a makefile. Hit exit. Now let's create a product file. Product file is over here. And I will use the arrow key so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to go in product file maintenance. What's a product file? Well, let's take a look. And first, let's take a look to see what we have. Look up. Okay, we know that the manufacturer is Honda. We know that the manufacturer is Mercury or Volvo, whatever the case may be. But what type of product is it? For an example, Yamaha. Yamaha sells motorcycles. They sell ATVs. They sell jet skis. They sell generators. They sell many different types of products. So when you're creating work orders, there'll be two questions asked. What's the manufacturer and what type of product is it? This is very flexible, and you can basically set it up the way you want to set it up. For an example, maybe you just don't want one product. If you're a motorcycle dealer, maybe you don't want one product that says motorcycles. Maybe you want to separate your products by different types of motorcycles. For example, you may want to have one that says sport bikes, another one that says touring bikes, another one that says dirt bikes, so that you can categorize your motorcycles into as many categories as you wish. Same thing with boats. You may want to categorize just not it's a boat, but maybe it's a center console boat. Maybe it's a sports fishing boat. So the reason you'd want to do this is because you can get reports. We have reports that report on your products and different types of things of products. So you'll be able to get reports of this is how many sport boats I worked on or center consoles I've worked on. So keep that in mind. All right, let's create a product code. And there again, the product code is not so important as much as the product description. So I'm just going to call this new code. Hit the enter key. It's going to say adding. If it's out there already, it'll say changing. And you'd give this product description. And user-defined name. We're going to be looking at that a little bit further down in chapter number 2. But with each product, you can basically set up a template of what you want to keep track of. For example, and let's take a look. I'm just going to hit F4 to add this new one, and I'm going to leave the user-defined blank. But let's take a look to see what we have out there already. For example, if you're a boat dealer, you may want to have certain items that you keep track of for a boat that a motorcycle dealer or maybe an ATV dealer would not. So the system gives you the flexibility of you setting up your own records and you telling the computer what you want to keep track of. So in this case, when I tell the computer that this is a boat, I'm basically telling all the information in my user-defined template of what I want to keep track of. We're going to be covering a user-defined template in chapter 2. So keep that in mind. And if you look to see what we have here, we have different user-defined templates depending on what the product is. I have one for motorcycles. I have one for boats. I have one for RVs. This makes the system very flexible. So if you happen to be a dealer that has multiple products, like you sell motorcycles, like you sell boats, and maybe you sell RVs, which we do, once you tell the computer that it's a motorcycle or it's an RV or it's a boat, it'll automatically come up with a totally different record with total different information that you have set up. So just keep that in mind. So first and foremost, create your product file. Okay, now we have our product file created. Let's go in and look at some of the options we have at auto charges. What's an auto charge? Well, an auto charge is every time you begin a work order. An auto charge is right here. Change, auto charge, and description. Every time you begin a work order, the system has the capability of putting a standard auto charge on that work order. You can delete it, you can take it off. And it gives you options on how you want that auto charge applied. Let's select Change Auto Charge and Descriptions. There are 3 different methods of doing this. Number 1, you can have just a flat charge, which I have here, which I'm basically saying on every work order I create, I'm adding a $10 charge to it. I'm estimating that the cost is around $5. And this is the description I want next to that charge. So it's going to say environmental fee / shop supplies. So you can type in your description, and you can pick the option of how you choose you want this thing to be put on. Whether it be a flat fee, click here, it would be a percentage of the total work order. So if you wanted to charge 2% of the total work order as an environmental fee, shop fee, or whatever description you wish, you would put in the percentage of what you would want to charge. That would be for the total work order. Or maybe you'd want to put just the total of the labor. So only take the total labor and calculate the charge on that. So you have various options on how you want to set this up. Keep this in mind. Most dealers have an auto charge put on the system, whether it's usually for shop supplies, environmental fees, those type things that incur. Also, it does have the option of removing it if you wish. Okay. So what we've done is we've gone in and we've set up our mechanics, we've created our make files, we've created our product files, we've set our auto charges. Now let's move on to chapter number 2.